everyone, a very warm welcome to this special. Today will be the first time Rahul will take on his former team Punjab Kings in this IPL 2022. How will that match turn out to be? Rahul is in red hot form, already scored 100 in the last game against Mumbai Indians, winning that match emphatically by 36 runs. For the Lucknow Super Giants, they beat Chennai Super Kings, so they'd also be buoyed by that last win. But Mayank Agrawal needs to score runs, needs to perform consistently. What about the two teams? How do they stack up? I have Shikhar here with me. We'll talk about that. We'll also give you our Fantasy 11. But this is such an interesting encounter, given that Rahul has scored the maximum number of runs for Punjab, overall. And now he's going up against them. And of course, there's a lot of history behind that. So it'll be nice to see what happens today.
Absolutely. We saw Kuldeep Yadav again demolishing KKR. So I think Rahul will have the same motivation in mind that, okay, it was Rahul's decision to leave Punjab Kings ultimately. But yes, there will be added motivation to, continue his run scoring pedigree. Already 2 centuries in this IPL and is looking in terrific touch. And that's why this matchup, I mean, two teams, when you will look at the playing 11s as well, likely playing 11s as well. And these two teams, I mean, both are power-packed units, world-class players, right from the start to the number 11. I think it's going to be a mouth-watering clash.
The question will also come down to how Punjab Kings approach matches from here on. They've had this philosophy from the first match that go bold or go home. You've got to be aggressive from the word go. Mayank Agrawal's been talking about it. Their team management's been talking about it. But will they continue to do so? Because that approach hasn't worked out well for them in some of the matches. What will they do now, given that this is the business end of the tournament, given that they have to win from here on? It'll be interesting to see. But also, it'll be interesting to see what Lucknow would do, given that they are already now in the top 4. But know that, you put your foot off the pedal and things can go terribly wrong, as we've seen with Kolkata Knight Riders. So, interesting match. Let's take a look at the playing 11, likely playing 11 for the two teams, and then we'll get to discussing about the match more. So, let's take a look at first the likely playing 11 for Lucknow Super Giants. It's so strange to, I know he's now been playing for Lucknow Super Giants throughout the season, but to see him against Punjab Kings and Rahul, yes, the captain of Lucknow Super Giants, against his former team. Quinton de Kock, again, had been consistent, but the recent last couple of matches hasn't been able to get runs. Manish Pandey, that's a constant problem they've had at in the top order. They don't know what to do with it. The good thing is that Bhanuka Rajapaksha, Punjab had but Marcus Stoinis, Deepak Hooda, Krunal Pandya, and then there is Ayush Badoni and Jason Holder. Also, the standout bowler for them has been Aveish Khan, so hopefully he'll be back. He was out after a small niggle.
Absolutely. I mean, good team, and as you said, the number 3 position has been their only real problem, and hopefully they'll sort out something, because Manish Pandey at 3, Rahul and Quinton de Kock have given them good starts, long starts. They play up to 8-9 overs, and after that I don't think there's any role whatsoever to for Manish Pandey to play in this lineup, where you have Stoinis, Holder, Deepak Hooda, Krunal Pandya, Badoni, all are power packed units. So I think Lucknow Super Giants can leave out Manish Pandey and bring in someone like Krishnappa Gautam to strengthen their bowling as well. If someone like Ravi Bishnoi or Dushmanta Chamira or any of the bowler don't fire, then they can utilize Krishnappa Gautam as well. And Gautam is a good batter to have, good all-rounder to have in the lower order. So a very good unit, and hopefully Lucknow Super Giants will produce another crackerjack of a match. They have been playing an aggressive brand of cricket.
They have been playing aggressive brand of cricket, but that batting order has been a problem, isn't that so, Shubha? And we've seen that they've first stuck with Manish Pandey, who hasn't been performing consistently. And then when they did get Krishnappa Gautam in, I think he went at number 3, scored a duck.
Played only
one game, scored a duck. And after that, they again got Manish Pandey back. So they've also not been able to decide what to do to get that balance right. But one thing we've all felt in the tournament so far for Lucknow Super Giants is that Marcus Stoinis and Jason Holder are batting way lower down the order, and that they should come somewhere on top, especially Marcus Stoinis, given that he's done this for Delhi Capitals as well.
Yeah, not only Delhi Capitals, he opens and sometimes bats at number 3 for his BBL side. He bats up at number 5, number 4 for Australia in T20s as well. So he's a versatile player, and you can't leave both of Jason Holder and Marcus Stoinis at number 7 and number 8. I mean, you need to at least send either of them at number 3 and utilize their batting potential, because both of them are good batters. They are internationals. They have played international cricket for long and are experienced campaigners. So I think the best way, as I said earlier also, either send Jason Holder at number 3 or a proven performer like Marcus Stoinis at number 3, and bring in someone like Krishnappa Gautam. And that will also Krishnappa Gautam's inclusion will not take away that lower order zeal, lower order zip from the batting unit. So they will maintain that lower order stability as well, and bring someone like Stoinis at number 3 who can give you explosive knocks.
Okay, let's also take a look at now Punjab Kings. They're likely playing 11, and then we'll talk about the specific players. Now Punjab as well, Mayank Agrawal's form is a problem, and if he doesn't get runs, things are going to get very difficult for them. Bhanuka Rajapaksa coming in the last game has only made things better for them, strengthened their batting. Rishi Dhawan was impressive in his first game, and I can imagine the pressure he must feel, given that the last match he played was in 2016, and then for him to come in and bowl like that. Then there is, of course, Kagiso Rabada. The problem there, I again feel with this bowling lineup, Shubhayan, is that they're unable to get as many wickets as they would like. The economy is good. Arshdeep has been economical. Rahul Shikhar, I know, has got the wickets. But they would have wanted Kagiso Rabada in the red-hot form that he was in when he was playing last season with Delhi Capitals, which hasn't happened for them.
Yeah, and exactly that was the reason why Delhi Capitals didn't retain Kagiso Rabada and went with Henrik Nokia, because Kagiso Rabada, even last season, he tapered off a bit, wasn't clocking as high as he can, not getting wickets as well. So that was one of the reasons DC left out Kagiso Rabada, and this season you can see that he's not the Kagiso Rabada we are used to, that the purple cap race, and Arshdeep, Kagiso Rabada himself has acknowledged that Arshdeep has been leader of this bowling attack. So you can imagine the sort of combination in that bowling unit, and as you said, Rahul Shikhar has been among wickets, but yes, they bought in Sandeep Sharma just because of that reason, that Kagiso Rabada is unable to give you power play wickets. So maybe Sandeep Sharma can give it, which he did in the last match. He bowled pretty well, but I think they want a couple of wickets more in those power play overs.
But how important is for Mayank Agrawal to score runs? Now, this is turning out to be difficult for them, because you see that batting lineup. If we could just put up the playing 11 for Punjab, and then we can discuss that. You look at that batting lineup and you realize that he's getting the support from Shikhar Dhawan. Shikhar Dhawan, number 4 in the race for Orange Cap, has been scoring consistently, but too much dependency on Shikhar Dhawan and Liam Livingstone. I think
Shikhar Dhawan has been given that sort of a role, that you need to play long, and other batters around him will go at same gear. They will play continuous attacking strokes, and that has somewhat, the reason behind their loss. That is the reason behind their defeats in this season. Starting from, and that is why they bought in Bhanuka Rajapaksa as well to strengthen their batting lineup. Bought in Rishi Dhawan, who can come at number 7, number 8 and give you quick fire runs. Then they have lengthened their batting unit, just because of the fact that their batting unit, because of the reason that they are playing attacking game, hasn't been as consistent as they would like. And Mayank Agrawal, I mean, if he's not scoring runs, will Punjab Kings change their captain in the run up to the playoffs? Because they are still very much alive in this tournament, and a couple of wins or 3 wins on the trot can change the dynamics for them very quickly.
Okay, we've already talked about Shikhar Dhawan and about Mayank Agrawal, but what about some of the others, the middle order? Now that was also a concern for them, but the middle order has been performing, not as consistently as they would have liked. The one good thing is that they've at least made the change of getting Bhanuka Rajapaksa in. Livingstone also, in the last couple of matches, hasn't got the runs. Just was unstoppable in the first half, but now not getting the runs. Jitesh Sharma, he's been very impressive in the tournament, just doing the job well. And the responsibility is huge, given that, if they lose wickets, which they've done at times, he comes in and he's been holding fort.
Yeah, and see, Bhanukar Rajapaksha, Liam Livingstone, both are similar sort of players. They play attacking game, and hence we just can't, expect them to score 50 every match. They are not consistent batters. They can strike at very high strike rate, but then they are not as consistent as one would imagine them to be. But fair play to Jitesh Sharma. I mean, he has utilized all the experience he has gained over the years in the domestic circuit, and that flamboyance, the pedigree he has. He's known to be known to play explosive strokes in domestic circuit, and that is what he's showing in this tournament. Some of the scoops over third man, I think, brilliant. But their batting unit, I mean, they banked on Shah Rukh Khan. They have dropped him. He hasn't performed. He has the worst strike rate for a number 6 batter in IPL this season around. And even Johnny Bairstow, they tried him in the middle order, although he got to play only 3 balls. But at number 5, at number 6, I'm not sure about Johnny Bairstow at number 5.
The good thing is that at least Rishi Dhawan looked like he was a good replacement for Shah Rukh Khan, because Shah Rukh Khan wasn't getting the runs. So that was in fact Punjab Kings. But even for I wonder in a tournament like this and at this situation for Punjab Kings, what do they do with Mayank Agrawal, who's not scoring runs? I mean, you're really stuck in the middle of it all, in the hope that he scores runs and hoping that Shikhar Dhawan continues, because at some point Shikhar Dhawan is going to start failing. And then what happens? So I just feel like it's a curious situation that they find themselves in, and on top of that, they continue to have that approach of just going hammer and tongs from the word go. We saw what happened against Delhi Capitals as well, the way they sort of collapsed. So I wonder what their strategy would be going forward.
See, one thing I can guarantee, Mayank Agrawal is in great shape. He's in great space of mind, and he's not worried about his spot in the team. But my only concern is what they lose 3 matches on the bounce or 4 matches on the bounce. Will they change the captain? That is my only concern, because you have Shikhar Dhawan who has led before, who is the vice captain of the team as well, an experienced player who is scoring runs, who is in form. And maybe they would want, if Mayank fails in the next 3 innings or 4 innings, maybe they will ask him to, take some pressure off your shoulder and focus on your batting. You have Shikhar Dhawan who can lead the side. But if team continues to win, then I don't think there will be any changes. Only change if Mayank Agrawal's place in the side, I don't think that's in danger, because they don't have a renowned domestic opener apart from these two, Shikhar Dhawan and Mayank Agrawal. And that is the reason. If they start losing, then maybe we can think about Mayank's place is in danger.
It'll be too late in the tournament to even change that. So I don't see that happening. But I just feel like this is a difficult space to find the team in, given that, how do you get to winning ways? How do you get your captain to strike form? Especially as you're getting to the business end of tournament, when things are getting desperate for you, you've got to win all the matches if you want to be in the top 4. So interesting days ahead for Punjab Kings. For Lucknow Super Giants, they do have a bit of a cushion of having won more matches and sitting in the top 4 of the points table. Though in complete contrast to Punjab Kings, for the Lucknow Super Giants is the captain who has been scoring runs. And in fact, in the regular captains, you see, he scored most number of runs, just looking in a different zone, just coming in, wanting to to prove a point. He's been doing that, and the 200s against Mumbai Indians again, fantastic to watch.
Absolutely. I mean, he's chasing Josh Butler now. He's chasing Josh Butler pretty quickly. And KL Rahul, when he's in form, I think he's the best best T20 batter at the moment, maybe limited overs batter in the moment, given the form of Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. But KL Rahul, over the last 4 years, starting from his stint at Punjab Kings, he has been in absolute brilliant form. He's scoring runs. Maybe at Punjab Kings we used to talk about his strike rate, whether he's scoring at the rate which can win the matches. But this time around, he knows that he has a long tail. He has Jason Holder batting at number 8. He knows that he can go, he can take risk, and we are seeing he has a strike rate of around 140, 145 and scoring runs pretty rapidly.
And it also works both ways, isn't that so? I mean, KL Rahul has the cushion, knowing that he has a great batting lineup. But at the same time, the other batsmen are not doing as much, and yet the team is doing well because KL Rahul is doing well. So it's interesting because on days when KL Rahul fails, Quinton de Kock again in the last couple of matches hasn't been scoring runs. So on days when he fails, will things get difficult for them? I know they've got a very good batting lineup, but has that consistency been missing from the middle order and the lower middle order?
True. Yes, it has been missing for sure. But you know the kind of batters they have, they all are explosive batters.
Correct.
Starting from number 4, I'll leave Manish Pandey out from this discussion.
Yeah.
But starting from their number 4, Marcus Stoinis,
Deepak
Huda, Krunal Pandya, Jason Holder, Ayush Badoni, they all are explosive batters. And somewhat on the same line as Punjab Kings' batting unit as well. They all are explosive batters. And that is why the high risk, high reward thing. You take risk, you get big sixes, but again, there are high chances that you will fail. But Krunal Pandya, I would like to highlight him. He has been absolutely magnificent in this IPL, be it with the ball. He's been economical. He's picking wickets with the bat. He has played a couple of good knocks. So Krunal Pandya using his experience there, but I would love to see either of Marcus Stoinis or Jason Holder at number 3. If they can sort that problem out, I think 90% of this Lucknow Super Giants team is fixed.
Absolutely.
That number 3 spot is the only point of concern.
I do see them being slightly stubborn with that because I think everybody's been talking about how Manish Pandey hasn't been able to perform as well, and then still being stuck up with this idea of having Manish Pandey bat at number 3, get all the other big hitters down. And I do believe that Marcus Stoinis, we've seen that he's doing the job in BBL. He did it for Delhi Capitals. He's, he can bat up the order definitely. Okay, now let's take a look at the fantasy 11 that we have for you. Today, I've tried to take some risks because I was like, what the heck, why not? So let's take a look at the fantasy 11 then. We'll start with the captain, who else but KL Rahul. I know now you'll say, why haven't you taken a risk with that? But I mean, the kind of form that he's in, if KL Rahul's playing, you've got to keep him and you've got to make him the captain. Because, I mean, even in that purple cap race, he's in the orange cap race, he's number 2. Yeah. So there's no way you're going to not make him the captain.
And all those who are watching, they will also agree that whenever KL Rahul is playing, the kind of form he's in, I think he has to be the captain. There's no other doubt about it.
Okay, so KL Rahul the captain. Then we have Quinton de Kock from Lucknow Super Giants. He's due a big score. We've already seen him do that in the earlier part of the tournament. And, he must be itching to get a big score, so today might be it.
Up against his South Africa teammate Kagiso Rabada as well, and last time he faced South African bowler Hendrik Nokia. That was the only match he has played in this IPL. We saw what he did to Hendrik Nokia, so I think Quinton de Kock will love batting against Kagiso Rabada, and that is going to be a very, very fascinating contest.
Then we move on to Shikhar Dhawan. How consistent has he been? The conversation now in the Indian selection committee has to be around him as well, and whether he's an option for the T20 World Cup. Age not on his side, but he's been showing that he's just as good in this format of the game.
Oh, true, absolutely true. But I think T20 World Cup would be a tad bit stretch for Shikhar Dhawan, given he's been out of the T20I squad for a bit long, but with his performance, I think he has to be in that discussion. At least the kind of consistency, the kind of, even his strike rate, he's been striking at 135, 140, which has seen a drastically, he has drastically improved his strike rate in the last couple of seasons, and runs when you want in tough situations, when you want in good situations, be it high scoring match, low scoring match, Shikhar Dhawan is always there for his other teams. For Delhi Capitals, we saw his pairing with Prithvi Shaw. Now we are seeing what he can do even when his opening partner is not scoring runs.
Okay, then we move on to the next player, and that is Mayank Agrawal. Now again, Mayank Agrawal, he's a class player, there is no doubt about it, but just hasn't been able to score runs. He scored 136 in 7 matches for them, and I mean, this is hope against hope, but yeah, he can change things around, so maybe today he'll do that.
Yeah, and why not? I mean, he will have KL Rahul, one of his good friends, in the opposite dugout, and of course he would want to prove a point as well, to score runs against his former IPL captain, and there's no better time to be to come back in form than this match and rally his team to a winning streak.
Okay, then Bhanuka Rajapaksha. Now, Bhanuka Rajapaksha came in place of Johnny Bairstow and played some eye-catching knocks, and then was made to sit out. He sat out for 3 games, and Johnny Bairstow didn't do anything, and then he came back in, and once again showing that it was a mistake to make him sit out. That's how good he's been in this tournament so far for them.
Absolutely. For me, after Shikhar Dhawan, Bhanuka Rajapaksha has been the best batsman for Punjab Kings. I know people will say there's Liam Livingstone who has struck 3 half centuries, but the kind of impact he makes at number 3, especially when one of the openers is not performing, he's coming in the middle power play overs and giving them quick fire starts, setting up a platform for middle order batters. I think he has been a fantastic buy for Punjab Kings and a great option to have in your fantasy 11 as well.
Okay, then Jason Holder, in the first game that he played in this IPL, we saw what he could do, right? We've seen again, we've seen some performances, all-round performances from Jason Holder. Again, consistency, a lot of people can say, is missing. But then when you have an all-rounder like him, on his day, he could get you 4 wickets and, 35, 38 runs at a strike rate of 200.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to get him in the team?
Absolutely. He bowls 4 overs, he bats. I would love to see him bat up in the order, but absolutely he has 3-4 overs guaranteed in him, and he has been picking wickets. I mean, if KL Rahul, I would urge KL Rahul to not give him the overs in the death, because he's not a death bowler, and utilize him mainly in the power plays and middle overs. But absolutely fantastic all-rounder, one of the best in the world, number 1 or number 2 test all-rounder, and can swing the ball up front, can extract extra bounce, is a terrific fielder, and yes, absolutely must have in your fantasy 11.
Then, interestingly, I know that a lot of people would have gone for Liam Livingstone, even Shikhar Dhawan as their vice-captain, given the kind of form that Shikhar Dhawan is in, but we decided to go in with the Krunal Pandya. Do you agree, Krunal Pandya as the vice-captain? I mean, I know it's a risk, but Krunal Pandya is really, again, his performance against Mumbai Indians, and you realize that, again, something out there, he needs to prove to someone that he's, is a wonderful player, and that's what he's doing.
Absolutely, and as I said, I particularly highlighted Krunal Pandya just because of the fact that he has been absolutely stellar with the bat, with the ball. He's coming in good situations, pressure situations, and scoring quick fire runs. Great economy with the ball, picking up wickets as well. So why not? It's a perfect risk to take, and hopefully it will give us rewards as well.
Okay, then talking about bowling, then we look at the next player on that list, and it is Aveish Khan. Again, Aveish Khan, we've talked about him at length every time they played, but he was missed in the last game, and you realize why he's become such an important part of this side. So Aveish Khan, definitely, if he comes back, he'd be there. I mean, Mohsin Khan was okay. Yeah. He was okay, but Aveish Khan is Aveish Khan.
Yeah, absolutely. If Aveish Khan is fit, he walks into the playing 11 without a shadow of doubt. And most importantly, he bowls majority of his overs in the death overs. So high chances of picking up wickets and more points there. And Aveish, I mean, terrific. What a rise he has had in IPL, and is likely to be in contention for the T20 World Cup as well. So all good for Aveish Khan, and absolutely must have in the fantasy 11.
Okay, then is Kagiso Rabada. He may not have been Kagiso Rabada that played last season with Delhi Capitals, but Kagiso Rabada is still the leading wicket taker for them, and has to be in this fantasy 11.
Yeah, like it's again going to be a high risk, high reward situation for fantasy players, because Kagiso Rabada has not been picking up wickets, and I'm not sure whether the fantasy players who go by stats and numbers will pick Kagiso Rabada today. But again, if there's not much involvement of Kagiso Rabada in all other teams in grand leagues and other stuff, then I think he can become a great buy, a great bet to have in the fantasy 11.
The problem is that when you look at Punjab Kings, not too many, they haven't picked up wickets in the tournament. I mean, your highest wicket taker is Rahul Chair with 10 wickets, Kagiso Rabada with 9, and at number 3 You have Dean Smith with 6 wickets. Arshdeep comes below that. Arshdeep's taken 3 wickets. So
Arshdeep's job is to give economical over restrictive overs, and he has been doing that job. And the main responsibility to pick up wickets was on Kagiso Rabada. So hopefully he will pick some wickets today.
Okay, then we move on to the next player on that list is Rahul Chahar again. He is in fact the highest wicket taker so far for Punjab Kings, and Mumbai misses him. I'm sure Mumbai must think, must really be ruining why they've let him go, because he's already shown with Punjab Kings, how good a bowler he is. And so Kagiso Rahul Chahar in that squad. And then the last is Ravi Bishnoi.
Yeah. 2 leg spinners, and I mean both of them are wicket takers, have been among wickets. And Rahul Chahar, Ravi Bishnoi absolutely must have. I mean, leg spinners are your wicket taking options, and both of them have enjoyed a great tournament so far.
Okay, so there you have it. That's the Fantasy 11 for you. Do exercise caution when you play any of these fantasy apps. There's a certain amount of risk, financial risk involved in this. So exercise caution, play responsibly. We do that whenever we do play on these Dream 11 or any of the fantasy apps. Okay, so that is the fantasy guide. Rahul Chahar there with Ravi Bishnoi, 2 spinners. Kagiso Rabada hopefully will get some wickets. Aveish Khan hopefully will be back. Then there is, Jason Holder, Krunal Pandya, the all-rounders. Bhanuka Rajapaksa, impressive in the tournament so far. And of course, KL Rahul has led this team, or rather his team, from the front, so why not? He has to be, given that he's number 2 in that orange cap list. He is our captain. So that's it then. News 9 Sports is what you need to subscribe to if you want the latest from the world of sports. Also at 7 o'clock, we will be back. We will be discussing this match, toss, the playing 11s, all of that, how the teams stack up. All of that at 7 o'clock, and 6:30 is when we go live on TV9 Bharatvarsh. So that's in Hindi. तो अगर आपको हिंदी में ये चर्चा हमारी सुनी है तो आप TV9 भारतवर्ष में हमारे साथ जुड़ सकते हैं. तो अभी शुभायन और मुझे इजाज़त दीजिए. नमस्कार.